Kennedy William Gordy, better known as Rockwell, was born into music royalty as the son of Motown founder Berry Gordy. Despite living in the shadow of his famous dad, he managed to kickstart his own career without his father's help. In 1984, he released a smash hit called Somebody's Watching Me with some help from the Jacksons. But after that, all we heard were crickets. Not only did Rockwell struggle to make a name for himself, but he slipped into obscurity. Here's why.
Feeling hungry? Head over to rrgsnacks.com to purchase a bag of our gourmet popcorn. Available in several flavors. Now you can enjoy our super messy videos all while getting your grub on. Use code POPPIN20 to receive 20% off your first order.
While attending Beverly Hills High School, Kennedy became more and more interested in music. He started writing songs, but during an interview with Rolling Stone, he described most of his songs as mediocre at best. Desperately wanting to create a hit, a frustrated Kennedy dropped down to his knees and asked God to grant him the creativity to write a song that would rise to the top of the charts. From there, his creative juices started flowing. Over the next 2 days, he sat down on his bedroom floor and wrote a song called Somebody's Watching Me. But he had no intention of keeping it for himself. He called up a classmate who was a budding musician and told him he had a song that was perfect for his style. That classmate was none other than Lenny Kravitz. After Lenny heard the song, he thought it was amazing, but he didn't think it fit the direction he was trying to take his music. Lenny struggled with his decision. He knew if he took the song, Kennedy's dad would turn him into a star. But in the end, Lenny turned it down and told Kennedy to keep the song for himself. Disappointed, but not willing to give up, Kennedy shared the song with his good friends, the Jacksons. He performed the song 8 or 9 times for his brother-in-law, Jermaine, who was married to Kennedy's half-sister Hazel at the time. Eventually, Michael heard the song as well and asked Kennedy, "Who are you going to get to sing background vocals?" Kennedy suggested Michael do it, and Michael agreed. Jermaine even hopped on the track to contribute to the background vocals as well. Next, Kennedy had to play the song for his dad, and when he did, Berry said the track wasn't up to his standards. In fact, Berry's response was, "Don't give up your day job, young man. Keep writing and you'll come up with something one day." Berry also believed that if he gave his son a record contract, it would be a conflict of interest. Kennedy felt defeated, but he wasn't going to give up. A year later, he changed his name to Rockwell. He wanted to hide the fact that he was Berry's son and didn't want the public to assume he was trying to piggyback off his famous last name. But he still wanted to be signed to his dad's label. He told Rolling Stone that he wanted his career to be a family affair, and Motown was like family to him. So with his new name in place, he submitted his demo to the record label and signed a contract without his dad's knowledge. Needless to say, Berry was ticked off. Rockwell told Rolling Stone, "I still to this day don't know what his reservations were for me to be signed." Thankfully, Rockwell had someone in his corner. His dad's new baby mama, Nancy Leviska, who also produced music videos for Motown. Nancy went to bat for Rockwell and convinced Berry that his son had what it took to be a huge star. With her encouragement, Berry gave the green light for a suitable budget for a music video and for Rockwell to produce his debut album. 19-year-old Rockwell released Somebody's Watching Me in January 1984. It peaked at number 2 on the Billboard chart. After 3 months, the single sold more than 500,000 copies and was certified gold. Music lovers were confused. They could clearly hear the distinctive voice of the king of pop, but the artist wasn't credited for his vocals, which was allegedly due to a contractual issue with his record company. Many people completely ignored that it was a Rockwell track and just assumed it was an MJ song. So you can imagine how puzzled they were when the music video was released and there was no king of pop in sight. To make things more strange, there was hardly any information available on who the heck was Rockwell. Then came the rumors that he was a fraud. Rockwell used a phony accent in his songs and videos to separate himself even further from his dad.
Did you always want to be a performer or writer? Did you always have that ambition?
Well, you know, it's something that I've often thought about.
He's English. He's turned English all of a sudden.
It's a wonderful thing.
He eventually dropped the accent because he wanted to be more authentic. After the song blew up, Rockwell had a new fan, his dad. Barry started parading him around all his friends and was beaming with pride. With some help from Barry's second wife, Raynoma Gordy Singleton, who was instrumental to the creation of Motown and worked as executive producer of Rockwell's music, Rockwell released his debut album in 1984. It landed at number 5 on the charts and was certified gold. When word leaked that he was Barry's son, Rockwell was devastated. During interviews, when reporters would imply that his dad was the reason for his success, it threw Rockwell into a fit of rage. Eventually, his dad told him how to handle the disrespectful reporters. Barry instructed him, "Tell them you made the song in spite of your father, not because of him." Even though Barry persisted in being more involved in his career, Rockwell still wouldn't agree to allow his dad to manage him. He did start to feel better, though, and released his next single, Obscene Phone Caller. The song was along the same lines of the Paranoia theme from his first single, but it wasn't as successful. In 1985, he released his sophomore album entitled Captured. The album brought us the single Peeping Tom, but neither the album nor the single made waves on the charts. Another album called The Genie was released in 1986, and it was a commercial flop. Rockwell said that at that point, he decided to put a stop to his career. It was becoming more of a job and it wasn't fun anymore. So he disappeared. He continued recording, although he did it in private and enjoyed his regular life. It was a few decades later before he popped back up in the news. The year was 2009, and fans were excited to hear "Somebody's Watching Me" in Geico commercials.
It's right here. It's easy. It's the money you could be saving with Geico.
With the song easing its way back into mainstream media, people assumed Rockwell must have made a ton of cash when he allowed Geico to use his song. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. According to the New York Post, Geico was legally obligated to pay two entities, a publishing company who owned the rights to the song and Motown for the master rights to the recording. But there was an issue with the insurance company using the original version of the song. Even though the King of Pop was uncredited on the track, it's now widely known that his vocals are on the song. Instead of trying to license music that featured one of the most famous entertainers in the world, which would have been very costly for Geico, the company hired new musicians and producers to re-record the track. Because Rockwell's voice wasn't used in the commercials, he wasn't entitled to receive any residual payments from the Screen Actors Guild. He reportedly only received a small flat fee on the publishing side, to the tune of $150,000 to $300,000, while the producers of the new version of the song bragged to the Post about how much money they were making from the commercials. In other words, Rockwell got screwed. Fast forward to July 2010. Rockwell married a woman named Nicole Moore, and according to TMZ, they split up 3 years later, although they remained legally married for many years. He moved on and started dating a woman named Leslie Miller, which was a complete disaster. In June 2016, it was reported that Leslie got locked up after she left him bruised during a physical altercation. According to TMZ, upon Leslie's release, she started blowing up Rockwell and his dad's phones. Rockwell obtained a restraining order to keep her away. Rockwell decided that in 2016, 30 years after his last album was released, he was finally ready to share new music with the world. He told Rolling Stone he had some unfinished business in the record industry. The album was supposed to be called The Second Coming, but as of this video, it has yet to be released. And sadly, more personal struggles got in the way. TMZ reported in May 2017 that Rockwell's housekeeper called the cops to report the singer had gotten physical with her after she failed to make him a sandwich fast enough. Rockwell was charged, but by the following month, the charges were dropped due to insufficient evidence. In November 2018, he was back in the news when The Blast confirmed Rockwell was behind bars for going after a woman with a chair in a Hollywood hotel. Sources claim the woman was working for the singer and things got heated because he owed her money. The woman underwent surgery to repair a broken arm, and in January 2019, she filed a $25,000 suit against him. The results of the case are unknown. But if all that wasn't bad enough, The Blast reported that Rockwell also had open multiple cases involving indecent exposure and criminal threats. In one of his last interviews, he revealed he's exploring his entrepreneurial talents and always finds ways to nurture his creativity. He reportedly owns an entertainment company, a film company, and his own record label. He isn't active on social media, but we hope he's staying out of trouble and living his best life. Let us know your thoughts on what happened to Rockwell, and thanks for watching RRG.